A lovely Thursday. It's cloudy and then not. It's like today is the definition of partly cloudy.
You're right.
Here in Waco, and I don't know how my emotions are about partly cloudy. I do know that I'm feeling like if I seem a little chipper today, is that I told you this before the show, Garrett. I went to the chiropractor today, and I am long overdue for some treatment, and it was like there is no better medical feeling to me than having my neck popped Arnold Schwarzenegger style by the chiropractor. You know what I'm talking about? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you ever seen the movie Eraser, he does it to a couple guys, but one guy, he does it in the freezer. He just slams the guy's head in the freezer and just cracks his neck. Now those guys all die.
Right.
But I don't. This is the this is the relaxing version of that. So but yeah, it was great. And I got Smokey's always complaining, of course, because he's old and he's had problems. So part of me was the last week and a half or so, I was I really got to get in because I'm getting sore. And the last thing I want to unleash upon the world is cranky, achy Paul, because I might be worse. I don't know. You remember when I hurt my hamstrings?
Yes, I do.
I was not fun to be around.
You were not a pleasant human.
I was not. I was, my normal jovial, Kool-Aid man like self. I was not that at all. So that happened. So if I seem hey, man, Paul is chipper today. He says, yeah, got his back cracked.
I've always wanted to go. I'm intrigued by going to the chiropractor, and I feel like I need to because.
Oh, dude, your posture could be better.
It's horrible.
And I'm not saying that to make fun of you.
It is horrible.
But you as I don't understand this as a short person. And part of it is just tall people. You may have to feel like you have to slink down to fit in with the rest of the world.
Well, most chairs aren't big enough. Chairs aren't conformed to I think if you're over 6 foot, I'll probably say 6'1" or 6'2", max 6'2". Nothing is conformed to your size. You have to adapt to everybody else. And it sucks. It's hard to find chairs.
Well,
it's hard. Yeah,
I will
really
say
is.
that on the other end, it's the same for me.
I can see that.
Because there are chairs that seem normal to me, and if I sit all the way back in them, my feet are an inch off the floor.
Okay.
And I look like a 6-year-old.
That's fair.
I'm taking my fucking Easter picture. So that's what I feel like. And so I don't so I understand on the other side of it. And I guess if you're making furniture or making things, what you do is to mass produce something is you find
size.
the median
right.
Height, weight of everybody, and then you do that. And then if you're above that or below it, it's going to be some level of different for you. It might still be comfortable or it might be, but it might be just some level of different than the person who is, 5'11", 187 pounds.
Correct.
With a 33-inch waist.
Yeah.
That's supposed to sit in this chair. That's the average normal person that they the mannequin that they built this off of.
It's a mannequin. Yes.
that person, they'll do this perfect. Their feet are on the ground the right way. They sit back in it the right way. Yeah. So no, I think you should look into it. I'll give you my guys. Anthony Medical and Chiropractic. They do a good, very, very good job. And yeah, so, what's funny about it, and this is non-sequitur, we're going to talk a lot about the Sweet 16 today. Right. But I do like this small talk version of the show. What's funny about it is when I was younger, I was always kind of told that chiropractors were quacks. Because it was easier to go to chiropractic school. There was a lot of people with, chiropractic degrees.
They were looked down upon.
But they were from the University of Trinidad and Tobago, those Better Call Saul,
right?
Yeah. And so I have a cousin who is a chiropractor in Hearn, Texas, which is a small town, just south of here. I have him, and he's great. And but I have my college roommate is like the head professor of physical therapy science. I don't know. He got some long title,
right?
But he's at the University of Idaho, and he's the head of he's very accomplished in his role as a professor. And even before he was that, when he was just a lowly athletic trainer, working on his PhD, we were on vacation one time, and I was like complaining about how the year before when we went on vacation. Let me tell you the story about this little bastard too. Let me tell you this. So this guy is very cheap, like chronically cheap.
Okay.
I love him like a brother. We've known each other since we were 11 years old. I would lay down in traffic for him. He could have all of my vital organs if he needed them, and I didn't. Like, all of that. So I'm prefacing this by saying, I love this dude. But, and this is in my late 20s. This is the year before he got married, or maybe the year after. But we were doing baseball trips.
Right.
And so my other college roommate, Stacy, and who you might have met because he's been here like in the past.
I think I've met him once.
Yeah, like back in the day at the radio station, like he came in one time. But like, so Stacy and I, like we were going to go, he said, why don't you guys come into California? We can hit the Angels, we can hit the Dodgers, and we can hit the Padres in a week.
Right.
And we were like, great. And he's like, yeah, and we'll be in our new house by then. So we don't have to get a hotel or nobody has to sleep on the floor. Like you'll have your own rooms, your own beds, and like, it'll be done. So like right before we're going, his house gets tied up in escrow.
Oh no.
And so the move-in date is pushed back to the actual week we are there, which to this day, I'm wondering if that was
he brought
like
you out there to help him move in.
Yeah.
That's
so
exactly what
we
he
did have to help him move. And
That is
I
exactly
complained
what that
the next year we had a great vacation. We didn't have to help him move. We went to Northern California, which is where his in-laws live, and they had this lake house up like just south of the Napa Valley. It was awesome. But they were remodeling it. So like it was a little bit like not as luxurious as it is now, but like they were remodeling it. His little brother came over and had needed a job at that time and was helping his father-in-law redo the house. So I hadn't seen him in forever, and he's a wild man. So it was kind of great to see him. But we're swimming in the pool. I'm like, man, I've just since last year helping your ass move, I've been hurting, like it's just like, it's all little things. And he's like, well, have you gone to a chiropractor? And I was like, oh no, man, those little guys are all quacks. And he's like, no, seriously, go.
Right.
Like go see one. And so the first one I went to see was my cousin Mark, Catalina, who's in Hearn. Also, I'll give a plug for him. He's a fantastic chiropractor. So if you're ever in Hearn or thereabouts and need a crack, he's there to help you out. So I go back and I'm like, hey, Dad, can we go see Mark? And my dad loved going back down into the ancestral manse of the Catalina family. So he was like, yeah, sure, I need to go too. And Mark gave me some treatment. I came back like a couple more times with my dad, and I was like, hey, why do they say you guys are quacks? He's like, because it's cheaper than surgery. And I was like, oh, okay.
Makes sense now.
But like Rusty, he'd worked with tons of athletes, and he was at FSU and Fullerton. He told me a story about a Fullerton baseball player who for years they couldn't figure out like what was going on with him. Like he'd had, this surgery and this one and that one. And finally, they just, the head of sports medicine at Fullerton was like, well, let's send him to this chiropractor. So Rusty went with him to the chiropractor. And he's like 2 days after the treatment started, he's like, oh, I'm getting the strength back in my arm. I can throw again. Like, I feel like it feels different. So they just kept giving him that care.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. No. And then the guy got drafted in like the 3rd round. And he was like, yeah, it's all because of the chiropractor. So I was like, oh, okay. And when I said, yeah, because it's cheaper. So now I'm a full-on believer. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to vet anybody because like, you look, I've been to regular crappy doctors and dentists and things like
everywhere.
that.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Like the people who, like Jerry Seinfeld said, the people who graduated at the bottom of their class are out there somewhere.
Yep.
They still graduated. They still got their license, right? And so because of that, they have all that, you know, there, you know, like you have that. So you got to vet people. You got to do word of mouth. And, you know, you also have to think about who you ask, because like, hey, my doctor, great. Why? He always gives me pills. Well, that just means he's a pill mill, you know, like, but I'll tell you, yeah, they have several doctors there at the one I go to here at Anthony Medical and Chiropractic, and they're really great. So I'm a believer, and I'm chipper, and I'm happy, and I'm ready for the Sweet 16, Garrett. But I will say one thing. If I do bust out into song, singing All For You by Sister Hazel, that was on while I was getting treatment today. So it's kind of just stuck in my head. And it's amazing. I didn't like Sister Hazel when I was in college and they were popular, because I don't know. Like I remember we went to one of their concerts. Like they were, you know, playing a bar in Tally, and like we went. And, like, I'm looking back and thinking, like, why do I hate this band? It's because I associate them with, like, a painful memory of, like...
say, you had a bad memory or something.
I took a girl. I thought it was going well. And then it just wasn't. And she kind of, like, I left kind of embarrassed. So my attitude then was, screw Sister Hazel. And then
I got the backlash.
Yeah. And then I'm sitting there listening to it, and maybe it's just nostalgia. I'm this way with, like, Smash Mouth now, too, where, like, when I was younger and I heard, like, might as well be walking, I'm like, this is the dumbest song ever. And then now, like, I'll hear it, and I don't hate it. I'm not going to download it. I'm not going to search it out. I'm not going to yell out for Alexa to play it, you know. And I'm very tempted to do that sometimes when we're doing this show. It's just like, Alexa, play Might As Well Be Walking on the Sun by Smash Mouth, and then see how many people are like, Paul, why?
That would be great. I would love to see Smokey's reaction to that, and how long it would take him to notice.
But so like, if any point during the show I'm like, it's hard to say what it is I see in you, like God. That's because that's the song that's in my head. Oh. Yeah, which is not like Garrett, which is not your kind of music.
It's not at all.
No, it's not at all.
It's not my wheelhouse.
No, it's not at all. You hate it.
I hate it.
Yeah, I've tried to be sensitive to that when we're driving somewhere together.
I know. I've noticed Emery does the same thing, and I'm cool, man. Like,
well, like you know what I found? Chris Stapleton Radio.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Like, it's soulful and it's good, and like you can deal with that, you know. But and look, sometimes we will listen to hip hop in the car together. Yep. Because I like hip hop, but you are deep into hip hop.
Like a specific genre, location. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know,
underground.
You were loyal to certain, like, you are so deep into it. Like, if I'm like, oh, hey, here's a Jay-Z song, you're like, fine. You know? I understand he's one of the great, like, you know, oh, hey, have you heard Eminem's new album? Like, I'll get to it. You know, I'm mainstream, you know. Like, for example, I loved the halftime show. You, the hip hop fan, hated it.
Oh my God,
I
hated it
because you are not a fan of
I respect
that style.
I respect that style. I just feel like with that one too, given the location, given the culture of Louisiana, New Orleans in particular, you had Master P there.
He just walked out and waved.
And you had the band there from Southern, and you could have done so many angles with that. And the prior couple, was it the year prior? I believe, or anyway, when they did the whole West Coast one, like it was too soon to go back to back with that for me. And I feel like the NFL missed their mark on that. Well, but I appreciate I really do appreciate, especially in the climate. I appreciate it for what it was. Yeah. It just wasn't for me personally.
No, it's really hard to do a think piece halftime show too, which is why I liked it. Because like I was like, man,
my wife loved it.
He was the whole time. The thing I think I liked the most about it is like, man, he put a lot of effort into
there's so many
this out. Like most of the time, it's just like, you know, how shiny can I make this thing?
Right.
It's like, the normal thing, and that's what mostly you should expect, and that's fine. Like,
that's fine.
That's what I kind of want out of a show, but I enjoyed it. I have always thought that you should do things that highlight the city that it's in.
Yes, you should. You should be giving back in a sense.
Which I know that like can get you maybe into some like pigeonholed into some certain things. Like there might not be somebody that's big enough for the Super Bowl,
but from the general area.
But look, I'm just telling you, in Tampa and Miami, and God rest his soul, he's gone. I I thought they missed the chance to have a Jimmy Buffett halftime show.
They probably should have.
That would have been great.
They should have.
It would have been great. Yeah, it would have been really fun, different kind of music. I think like when they were in Atlanta,
that one pissed me off.
And they're like, "Oh, Maroon 5."
No.
Who literally takes off his shirt and has a tattoo of California across his belly, and like, okay, we're gonna bring out like Big Boy, half of Outkast, and we'll bring out a couple of these Atlanta people, but we're not gonna build it around the culture. And like, here's the thing,
that's
I would love to see like a halftime show that's just all Atlanta music, which means you could throw Zach Brown Band in there. You could throw a ton of people in there. Like if they were back in New York, you get Alicia Keys and Jay-Z, but you can also get, you can get
somebody.
Yeah, you can get somebody else. Like, to me, I think you should highlight the area of which you're hosting the game. And New Orleans has not only hip hop culture, but jazz, rock and roll, country, like all this you could do.
Badass, like blues, jazz, like that, like kind of like they did at the Super Bowl party where you had the guy playing the spoon spring, the thing,
the washboard.
The washboard, and embraced that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
that was awesome.
That's the thing. If we could bring the media party to the people, no, I'm all about that. So, Garrett, tonight begins the Sweet 16.
It does.
I am. I'm excited to watch. I'm hoping that my wife is healed enough from the scars of a first-round exit for Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Does she have a vendetta now? Like, is she wanting to Arkansas to fall brutally?
The problem is they're playing Texas Tech, who's another Big 12 team.
Yeah.
And she's not one of these people who buys into conference pride all that much.
I respect that for her.
Yeah. I mean, she's not. Like, and look, I don't. Have you ever heard me root for an ACC team?
No, not really.
Because I could. Duke plays tonight.
Yeah, that's.
I could. I could be like, you know what? That'll be good. No, I've lived as the stepchild in basketball of Duke for a long time.
Yeah.
They don't need to win anymore.
No, they don't.
Their brand is established. Nothing could ever, nothing could ever change about that. So I know we need to take a break here because we got somebody to, that's going to film some things. And I've been very rude, just like talking and talking and talking and talking. And he's been sitting there waiting. But,
he just took a phone call.
He just took a phone call. It's fine. I'll wait till he comes back in and we'll take the break. But I don't, that's probably why we're a good match. But I will say that I personally am like pulling for more of the Big 12 teams tonight, tonight and tomorrow and on through it because, look, Graham McCaslin I've known for like 16, 17 years, a long time. BYU is a really fun story and they're just great to us. So I can't.
I love it. I was having this conversation with Anna this morning about the people for BYU and like how awesome. Like I've never met somebody from there that I didn't genuinely like.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
No, I mean they're just so like every interview we ever have is great. We love Kalani Sitake. I can't wait to get Kevin Young on the show when I know we will. Yeah, because all we really have to do is ask and schedule it because they're just. For us in a professional thing. And I know you can have your little rivalries and all that and think that they they're great. I'm just telling you, like we have, it's one of the most productive professional relationships I've had with any team that I've ever worked with in any realm of the sports world. So I root for them. I also don't really like Nate Oates all that much.
I don't either. I think he's an ass, honestly. And the way that situation unfolded last year, I didn't like the way it was handled in general. And I know, you can't just be hands-on and protect. You can't prevent that from happening if you're Nate Oates. But I think the way they went about it it turned me on. It was disgusting.
Yeah, it was very who among us hasn't witnessed a murder?
Right. And that didn't sit well with me. And he's got his personality rubs me the wrong way. He's a great coach, tremendous coach. But he's one of those people where I separate what you can do professionally from how I kind of got the vibe I get from you. And I don't got a great vibe from him. I think that game's going to be interesting, though. Schematically, I don't like BYU in that matchup from how they have to rely on shooting the three so much. I don't really like – and I understand that's the trend and how basketball is played now more from the outside in. but the way they are relying on the 3-point at this time in the year and the way Alabama can get up to the floor and score quickly, I think that might hinder BYU in this matchup.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. BYU's better on defense than Alabama is.
They can beat them. I'm just kind of.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't think this is gonna be a thing where it's gonna come down to probably 1 or 2 stops at the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Because these teams are going to bomb.
Oh, they are
all night long.
I want BYU to win it. I don't think I picked them in my bracket, but I want BYU to win the game.
Look, I'm not a fan of John Calipari
I can't stand
as I described yesterday. Nate Oates kind of the same. Like there's this level of coach, and here's the thing. I've been spoiled here personally.
Right.
We've been spoiled here because we have the Scott Drew staff who is on the other side of that.
Yep.
Like Scott, Grant, Jerome Tang, like all of these guys, Paul Mills, and all they're all like
super nice.
They're all super nice. Like there's no
egos.
There's also not this like, how dare you ask me that?
Yeah.
Question kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And if Scott Drew disagrees with something you've said or written about his program, he will call you up and talk it out professionally. Mm-hmm. Like he doesn't call people up and go, how I'm and then like there's just this weird vibe with coaches like that. Nate Oates gives me that vibe. Mm-hmm. Arizona's playing tonight. Like, so we've got 3 of the 4 Big 12 teams playing all tonight.
Yep.
And like Tommy Lloyd, I dig Tommy Lloyd's vibe.
I do. I like Tommy Lloyd.
I mean,
miss Sean Miller being there, but I like Tommy Lloyd.
Yeah.
I love Arizona basketball is my
so there we go. So it's good. When we come back, we'll dive more into it game by game, including I'm cheering for the Crab 5 tonight.